Hello everyone. We are going to take all of the work we've been doing with those little doodle creatures and put them together into kind of a group portrait. So some ideas from some that I did of my own that were just some doodles. There's things like this. Just the idea of a bunch of these little guys all layered in on top of each other. So if you look at my work, you can see that as we go further up the page, the little doodle monsters and animals get further back in the picture. The ones who are in the front are up here at the base, and at the top of the picture, they're in the back, which means we need to start drawing the ones in the front first. So I suggest that you start with a pretty small space. This is my hand, so see how little of a space I'm working in? You can go bigger and bigger whenever you like, but I learned from my work that it's easier to start small because it can feel a little overwhelming to do a full page of these doodle guys. So we're going to start here. Let's stick to some basic simple shapes, nothing too fancy, nothing too wild, and just work on the basic idea of layering them. So I'm just going to start here. This is going to be a blob creature. I'm going to fill in some buddies next to this one, remembering that before I can put anyone who appears behind this one, I need to think about if this one's going to have any ears or anything else sticking off the top of its head, because I'll need to draw that first. This one I think I'm going to leave plain. I'm going to put another one that kind of peeks out around the side like this. And this one I think I want to have ears, so I'm going to put some kind of rabbit style ears on this one. Let's move our way across. I'm going to do a really low one right here, and I'm going to put, I think, maybe like some dinosaur style spikes on this one. Notice that I'm not bothering to fill in their faces yet. That's my own personal choice. If you want to finish one completely before you move on to the next, you can, but I've found that for my personal style, I prefer to get the outlines of everyone done and then go back in and fill in their faces and details. I think I'm going to put one of the kind of cat style ones peeking out right here. And then when I fill in this space, it's going to be behind this one and behind this one. So I need to double check. Do I have everything that's sticking off of these that I want? I do, so I can keep going. I'll just do another blob kind right there. And then over here on the side, I think I'm going to do mostly blobs in this drawing. It's going to be mostly blob ones and a few with ears and other details, but I'm going to start simple. Got my first row done. I like to have a bit of balance. So I see that there's one here with some big stuff going on its head, and one here with some little stuff. I think next I'd like one kind of in this zone with something on its head. I think I'm going to do a bow. So I'm going to draw the bow first because we want it to sit like it's on top of the head, which means we have to draw it first so the head can tuck in behind it. Okay, there's that. Let's try another one. Esri says hi, by the way. Just going to excuse that slight interruption where Esri lost her beans barking at the mail person dropping off a package. So we're going to pick up where we were. We're drawing our little blobs and we're making sure that they're layering going further back. And we're trying to put some balance, so not too many with special things and keeping them spread out. It's nice to have simple ones next to fancy ones. I consider this cat one to be fancy because it's not a blob, so I put blobs right next to it. I would consider this one with the dinosaur spikes to be fancy, so it's surrounded by some blob ones. You can do all fancy if you want, but I found that for my taste, I prefer if there's a mix. Let's do another one. I'm going to give this one some hair. It's going to be a blob, but it's going to have like some crazy stuff going on its head. And we need to come back over to this side. Keep in mind that where these ears are, they're going to cover up a lot. So I'm going to put somebody really tall behind it so that the face still makes it over the ears. And then I'm going to put a big giant one that fills in this space. This one's going to have, I think, its face really small at the top. And let's do like that. And, ooh, I'm going to draw one with a unicorn horn, which means I'm going to draw its horn first. And then mix the blob into it. And another. See, we're just layering in little blobs. I think here I'll make one that's like a bear. Maybe it'll be a bear. It might end up being something else by the time I draw it. When you get up to the top, eventually you're going to reach a place where there isn't really a lot of room to add anyone else. When you get there, you can leave that space white, or if you like, you can color it in with some black up at the top like I did. I kind of like the contrast of the black mixed in with all these little guys' drawings, but you can do whatever feels good to you. I'm going to shade it in with black later, but not right now. I want to get out a bigger marker for that so I don't use up this one. Once we have all of our outlines, we're ready to just start adding faces. So go back, look at all the many drawings that we did, all the ones that you practiced where you did different types of mouths and different types of eyes, and remember some of the advice. Like if you do fancy eyes on one, then you probably want to make a nose that's not too complicated. But ultimately, it's your work. It's your choice. If you want to make them all really simple, it will look cute. If you want to make them all really complicated, it will look cute. If you want to mix them, it will look cute. That's the beautiful thing about this work, is that it is going to come out cute. It is just permanently destined to be cute. If you want to add color, you can. For myself, I've been enjoying doing these in black and white, but there's no reason they can't have color to them. You could also do a little bit of shading. Let's make that bunny really cross because he already looked a little angry. Sometimes when I draw one and it looks like it's starting to have a certain emotion to it, like to me those eyes seemed a little angry already, I just go all the way and give it, angry eyebrows so it's super angry. Sometimes when you have a lot of space in the front of its body, you might decide, oh, I'm just going to add some little arms there, like he's reaching out and grabbing some stuff. There, he's an angry bunny and he's grabbing things. Let's make this one, I'm going to give him dot eyes and the mouth with the little tooth, kind of like bunny teeth. I'm going to press pause for a minute and finish doing some doodling so you don't have to watch me draw 7,000 eyes, and then I'll show you what I come up with at the end. Okay, we're back. I decided that a couple of them looked a little too simple, so I found space on this one where I could fit some ears in. We talked about how you had to plan out ears and horns and things ahead of time, but every once in a while you can find a place where they wouldn't cover anything up to add them in. So I added in ears here, and I added in some little hair or horns or something here. I also decided to color in the back bit black, and when I did that, I remembered that I like it best if the outside line is thicker than the lines that I used for drawing on the inside. So I went around the outside again to kind of make it pop out. So go for it. Try this. Remember that you just need to start at the front and layer them in. And I would encourage you to make a deal with yourself where you say, I'm going to start this. And if partway through it ends up looking like I do not like where it's going, I'm going to keep finishing it all the way until it's done. Because every single one I have done of these, of the group photos of these little monster guys, at some point in the process, I have felt like I really didn't like it. And all of them I have ended up feeling good about at the end. For some ideas, I'm going to show you just a couple that I did and then send you off to do some art on your own. So here's the one that I was looking at with you earlier. This is an interesting kind of guy that I hadn't done any of in our groups, I think, making him kind of blobby like a cloud. Remember, if it's feeling too empty, you can add little details like I did on this one's head of little spots. Here's another one with just very simple shapes, although this one that kind of ended up sunflowery, I quite like that one. And I gave them a little sign. I haven't figured out what I'm going to say on the sign yet, but that was a fun thing to try. And then if you want, this can be a cool way to do the same thing in many different ways. So I did one that was all just different bunnies doing different bunny things. And although honestly this bunny ended up looking a little bit like a really angry dog, but for the most part they are bunnies. This is a vampire bunny. This is a very serious, studious bunny. There's all sorts of bunny stuff going on in here. Whatever feels like fun to you is what you should try, but try something because hey, that's how you get better, right? Remember that starting small is going to make this feel easier at the beginning than starting with a big giant full page. Start with something maybe just like the size of my hand and call it good for the first one. have a good day, everybody. I miss you. You are all wonderful. Keep being you. Keep doing what you do. And I'll see you around. Bye.